2 hours left until the deadline. Let me know your questions. Ollie Watkins, he is confirmed to be fit. Still not sure that he will start the game against Ipswich. He might still come off from the bench, of course. Emery might rest him for the important Liverpool match. My transfers ahead of this game week was to sell Sanchez after Maresca's comments about him not being Chelsea's number one anymore. It made sense for me to sell him. I trying to take advantage of the double fixture for Aston Villa in double game week 25, so Martinez is my new goalkeeper. Moyes did really well in double game week 24, but I have sold David Moyes to bring in Emery. So it's a triple up on Aston Villa for me with Emery, Martinez, and Rodgers. So Watkins is pretty much off limits for me, as I already have a triple up on Aston Villa. But let me know, go and vote in the poll if you are interested in bringing in Ollie Watkins. Of course, that Ipswich fixture is of course tempting, but really interesting actually. When I made these graphics 30 minutes ago, Lewis Hall was the third most sold player ahead of double game with 25 at the moment. Alexander Isak has gone past Lewis Hall. He is now the third most transferred out player. I think that a lot of FPL managers are tempted by Ollie Watkins, so selling Alexander Isak to bring in Ollie Watkins is one really popular transfer at the moment. I think if you have Jackson at the moment, it makes perfectly sense to sell him and bring in Ollie Watkins. I'm not sure if selling Alexander Isak is the best option. Kind of depends how much you bought him for, of course. He will have a double game week in game week 32, possibly a new double game week in game week 33 as well. So Ollie Watkins is now the fifth most transferred in player, while Alexander Isak is the third most sold player. I think that a lot of FPL managers at the moment is getting Watkins FOMO. So Alexander Isak is being sold and Watkins is being transferred in. My chip strategy hasn't really changed because of the announcement of double game week 32. I will probably still free hit in blank game week 29. Hopefully I can get some benefits from using my free hit in that given week. At the moment I have a triple up on Liverpool, 2 Aston Villa players and triple Newcastle. So that's 8 players right there who will not play in blank game week 29. The next move will probably be to find a way to upgrade Joao Pedro and bring in Mateta, maybe selling Trent to Munoz to upgrade Joao Pedro to Mateta. Is a possibility. After making those moves, I'm actually pretty set for double game week 32 already, and then I will focus on bringing in double game week players that also have a game in blank game week 34. I might also play my wildcard in blank game week 34. Depends on how many blanks there will be and how many double game week teams will have in double game week 36. Still a couple of options for me, but the free hit will probably be played in blank game week 29 still, even though there are only 4 fixtures confirmed to be blanks. Alexander Isak, he is way past Hall at the moment. 314 transfers out for Alexander Isak. Actually try to upgrade those graphics. Let's see, Chris Wood, Lewis Hall. Give me a minute. Lewis Hall is no longer the third most sold player. It's Alexander Isak. Let's see if I can make some adjustments. Let's see. Chris Wood still the third most transferred in ahead of the deadline. Don't really see Watkins. He need close to 100k transfers to go past Kirkis and Wood, so Wood will probably remain the third most transferred in player, but Lewis Hall is certainly not number 3 anymore for transfers out. Let's see. So Isak, and he is transferred out by 320. Good afternoon, Ben Krelling. It's just done a spreadsheet with a fixture now updated with 32 as a double game week. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. I actually, at the bottom, I have included the new fixtures for double game week 32. It's Newcastle and Crystal Palace having a double game week. I think that I will probably play my triple captain actually in double game week 32. Newcastle with 2 home fixtures, playing at home against Man United and then at home against Crystal Palace. More tricky for Crystal Palace. They are playing away against Man City and away against Newcastle, so I'm not sure if I will focus on bringing in Crystal Palace players for this particular double game week, but I will definitely keep my triple Newcastle. Still think that Lewis Hall, Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak is the best triple up from Newcastle, so I will probably just keep them. I will probably play my free hits in blank game week 29 and have my team ready with a lot of double game week players already for both double game week 22 and double game week 23. Give me a minute, I will just try to change the background. Yeah, that worked. Alexander Isak, Alexander Isak is now the third most sold player this game week. It happens really quick after the Emery press conference about Ollie Watkins being fit and ready for double game week 25. I think that a lot of FPL managers are taking the leap and selling Alexander Isak to bring in Ollie Watkins. So 1 hour ago when I made the graphics, Lewis Hall, he was the most sold, second most sold Newcastle asset, but Alexander Isak is now being sold by a lot. No Alexander Isak to Watkins for me. Already tripled up on Aston Villa players. Any news about Gakpo? No new concrete updates since Slot's press conference, so he said that he was a slight doubt for the first fixture in double game week 25. So at the moment, I just think that the managers who already have Gakpo in their team should just keep and play him, but I wouldn't necessarily transfer Gakpo in at the moment. Good evening. I own Isak, Gakpo and Watkins, have 2 free transfers and I'm currently on Mr. Slot on assistant managership. Would you sell Gakpo or hold? Doubtful for Sunday. Yeah. Situation is kind of tricky when it comes to Gakpo. Got no good information from Slot about his fitness, but as I just said, I think that if you have Gakpo, you should just play him and pray and hope that he plays. But I wouldn't necessarily advise anyone to buy Gakpo at the moment. I wouldn't use a transfer on selling him. Especially seeing that you already have Alexander Isak and Ollie Watkins. Might probably have been a bit tempted to sell Gakpo to bring in Watkins, but I would just keep Gakpo for now. Anthony Gordon is the most transferred out player ahead of double game week 25. I actually have a feeling that he can do something against Man City. I think that the fixture against the champions really fits Newcastle at the moment and their style of play. So hopefully Newcastle can do well against Man City. I'm keeping Lewis Hall on my bench. I can't really see Newcastle keeping a clean sheet, to be honest, but I think that for attacking Newcastle players, that the fixture against Man City actually is pretty decent. So Who should I bench, Joao Pedro or Isak? I would definitely play Alexander Isak this game week. Know that on paper, when we see the fixture against Man City at Etihad, it looks like a really, really bad fixture. But for attacking players, I think that they can do something. Man City have been a bit better recently, but we saw this in the Champions League against Madrid as well. The defense is not at their best, so I would definitely play Alexander Isak against Man City this weekend. Thanks for that reply. Would you sell Murphy, Ahmad to Django? Wouldn't have enough funds to get Semenyo or Kluivert. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think that Bournemouth midfielders, and especially Dango as well, playing up front for them is probably a really solid transfer in at the moment. If I had more free transfers, I would probably try to do something with my midfield as well, especially if I had some funds and a free transfer. I would probably sell Buonanotte to bring in Django myself, but of course that would have given me a benching headache. But with actually at the moment I have 0 free transfers and 0 funds in the bank, so that's not possible for me. But seeing you have 2 free transfers, I think that probably selling one of Murphy or Ahmad is a decent move. Setting you up nicely for the next couple of game weeks. I think that if you are not going to use your free hit in blank game week 29, then Murphy is probably the right player to sell. Henderson against Everton at home or sells against Fulham away. I think that sells is probably the best option. We know that Nottingham Forest can put in really, really good defensive performances. So if you don't have any attacking players from Fulham, I would probably just play sells. If you don't have Raul Jimenez, Iwobi, it makes sense to just play Matt Sells. It's of course the safest option, covering the highly owned Nottingham Forest defense. But if you want to take a punt, then of course backing Crystal Palace and Dean Henderson could be decent as well, playing against Everton at home. So Matt Sells is the safe option, while playing Henderson is probably a bit more aggressive. Wouldn't necessarily call it a punt, but a more aggressive move. No worries, Josh. Hopefully you make the right decision. Decisions like this is always tricky, and it feels like it more often than not gets that we pick the wrong one, right? So hopefully this game week you make the right decision, and best of luck for the game week and a nice weekend as well. Akshat Bani, I have Isak, Hall, and Robinson on the bench. Should I use bench boost or triple captain Salah? That's a really, really strong bench, I have to admit. One of the strongest benches I've seen in a while. I would probably try to squeeze Alexander Isak into my starting 11. To be honest, I just talked about the Man City fixture. I don't necessarily see Lewis Hall keeping a clean sheet, but I think that Alexander Isak and Newcastle's attacking players probably have the potential to do well against Man City this game week. So I wouldn't bench Alexander Isak, but if Wood and Gakpo up front, that's decent. Hopefully Gakpo can play. I would definitely start Gakpo. Would probably consider benching Chris Wood, to be honest. And one of your 5 players in midfield. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't play the bench boost this game week. No, I would actually play the triple captain on Mo Salah. We know that this is probably the last double game week for Liverpool this season, and we know that he is on fire. 29 points in double game week 24. Really good outcome for the triple captainers last game week. You might see something similar again, of course, as the fixtures actually are a bit better for Liverpool and Mo Salah this game week compared to double game week 24. Pedro or Elanga, I would probably play Joao Pedro. I know that he has been rumored to have lost his spot, but I can't really see it. Hopefully he will start tonight against Chelsea, and we know that he is on penalties, so Joao Pedro, he will definitely start for me this game week. Having said that, my plans going forward is actually to sell Pedro soon. The initial plan is to sell Pedro and Trent to bring in Munoz and Mateta. Crystal Palace, they have okay fixtures and they will have a double game week in game week 22. I know that the fixtures in their double game week 32 is not the best. They're playing against Man City away and Newcastle away, so can't really see Crystal Palace keeping clean sheets in any of those games. But Munoz, he is so attacking, and Mateta is on penalties, so hopefully he can do something in those games. Thank you. I was 50-50 with this reduced minutes. Yeah, I get that. Midfield is Palmer, Mbumo, Rogers, Salah, and Chloe. Can't really bench any of them as well. Yeah. Probably makes sense for you to bench Alexander Isak. Really, really strong team for Akshat Bani, having Alexander Isak, Lewis Hall, and Robinson on his bench. Considering the bench boost, I really get that, but depends. Have you played your assistant managership? I think that if you haven't played your assistant managership, it makes sense to play it in game week 31, 32, and 33. Thing is that if you play your assistant manager's chip in those weeks, you can't play your triple captain on Alexander Isak in double game week 32. And I would try to play my triple captain in a double game week, to be honest. Of course, we saw in game week 2 and game week 3 that a lot of managers played triple captaincy on Haaland with great success, but as we saw last game week with the Salah triple captainers, I think that is worth using the triple captain in a double game week. Jacob Fowler, Robinson to Huijsen, Moyes to Emery for a -4, or Robinson, Huijsen, Gakpo, Cunha, and Moyes to Slot. I would avoid the -8 Jacob and just do Robinson, Huijsen. I really like that move, sets you up well for the coming game week, considering Bournemouth's form and fixtures. And I think that Moyes to Emery is probably enough. And let's just hope that Gakpo is okay. So the Liverpool game is not until Sunday, so some extra time for Gakpo to be fit. So I think that all the planning and bringing in Gakpo for this game week, or excuse me, bringing in Gakpo for double game week 24 and double game week 25. I'm not sure if it makes sense to use a transfer on selling him, as he's not confirmed to be out. So I think that you would be really annoyed if you use a transfer and took a -8 only for Gakpo to be fit and start against Wolves on Sunday. So I'd say avoid the -8 and just do Moyes to Emery. Orksan, hi mates, hope you are well. Hope you're all as well. Please choose 3 from Mikolenko, Pedro Porro, Konsa, Saliba, and Robinson. I would definitely start Saliba. I think Konsa is injured, so he will not play. Pedro Porro on set pieces. So it's between Mikolenko and Robinson. Saliba and Porro should start. Everton playing against Crystal Palace. Fulham, of course, they have the home advantage, but we know that Chris Wood probably will score, so yeah, I say Mikolenko. Really close between Robinson and Mikolenko though, so but I definitely start Porro and Saliba. Just so you know, it's unlikely Pedro will start tonight. Would be really annoying if Pedro didn't start. But yeah, I know about rumors. I've also seen that some are speculating that he has lost his starting spot. But I will take the punt on Joe Pedro. Don't really have any strong alternatives on my bench, so just starting Joe Pedro makes sense for my team at the moment. But my plan in the coming game weeks is to sell Joe Pedro. Will probably be a double transfer, selling Joe Pedro and Trent to bring in Mateta and Munoz. So hopefully Joe Pedro can do something before I sell him as a parting gift, but he hasn't been great lately, so don't really have high hopes this game week either, to be honest, but let's wait and see. Haven't used assistant manager because zero money in the bank yet. You'll need at least 0.5 to bring in an assistant manager. Bench one of Gakpo, Esse or Ahmad. We'll probably bench Ahmad this game week. I would definitely start Gakpo if you have him. It's either, as mentioned, I think that if you have Gakpo, you should just keep him and start him. I wouldn't necessarily advise anyone to buy him, but I think if you're going to bench Gakpo this game week, you might as well just sell. Triple captain Salah or Alexander Isak game week 32. I think that if I hadn't activated my assistant manager chip, I would probably play the triple captain this game week. My plan was actually to triple captain Salah last game week, so kind of bad luck for me that the extra fixture this game week was announced, because when we got the news that we had back-to-back double game weeks, then I just thought that the back-to-back double game weeks were perfect for the assistant manager chip, giving us 5 fixtures for our assistant manager. But triple captain Salah has actually been my plan. Triple captain Salah for double game week 24 actually was my plan for around a month, but yeah, I would probably pick Salah this game week instead of Alexander Isak, but I think that Isak is a good option as well. We know that he is Newcastle's talisman, and when he's in form, he is a really, really good player. So Isak in 32 is a good option, but I will probably go Salah in double game week 25 if I had the option. Alexander Isak, he is the third most sold player ahead of the next game week. 90 minutes ago it was Lewis Hall, but Isak, he is being sold rapidly at the moment. So I think that a lot of managers are selling Isak to bring in Watkins. Makes sense after Emery's comments about Watkins being fit. Of course, it's tempting. Watkins probably on penalties as well for Aston Villa, so a really good option, especially with the game against Ipswich. Ruben Gibb, thoughts on Iwobi to Cloyford for a -4? I think that I will probably just wait until after this deadline and do it for free. Of course, it's tempting to catch the Southampton fixture for Bournemouth, but if you make this move, you need Iwobi to definitely blank and you need a Cloyford goal to break even. So yeah, if you think that will happen, then probably go for it, but I think that I would just wait another game week and do it for free. I talked about the Bournemouth players. I really like them. Great value, good fixtures, great form as well. So, what are your plans for this week? Unfortunately, I don't have any free transfers available. Zero money in the bank as well. I made 2 transfers. I have sold Moyes, my assistant manager, to bring in Emery, taking advantage of the double game week for Aston Villa. I also had a goalkeeper problem. I had Sanchez and Fabianski last game week. They were both on the bench, so 0 minutes for them and 0 FPL points for me. So I sold Sanchez to bring in Martinez. So I will have Martinez as my goalkeeper for the next game weeks. Will use my free hit in. Will probably use my free hit in blank game week 29. Martinez at 5.0 is actually not my kind of FPL goalkeeper. I would rather go 5.5 and go for Raya, or 4.5 in another goalkeeper. But considering the fixtures and the fact that I probably will free hit in game week 29, it makes sense for me to take advantage of the double game week in 25. So no big plans for me. I will probably just play this team. Can't really bring in Watkins as I'm already triple up on Aston Villa, so no other transfers that's really tempting, so I will avoid a minus for this game week. If Trent was injured, so he was rumored, he was yellow flagged before the Everton game on Wednesday. If he was injured, my transfers would probably be to sell Trent and Joe Pedro to bring in Watkins and probably Munoz. So my plans for the next couple of game weeks is to find a way to get Mateta in, and it will probably be the 2 same players that I will sell, Joe Pedro and Trent, to bring in Mateta and Munoz. If I make those moves, I'm committed to the free hit in blank game week 29, as Crystal Palace will not play in game week 29. I already have 8 players that will not participate in that given game week, so if I bring in 2 Crystal Palace players, I will have 10 players without a fixture in blank game week 29. So of course, using the free hit chip in blank game week 29 is kind of a risk, but I will have a really good team ready for both double game week 22, 32 and double game week 33, with triple Newcastle and double Palace already in my team. So I will save a couple of transfers by using my free hit, so it will probably be my strategy this season, playing the free hit chip in blank game week 29. Gordon is the most transferred out player. He is yellow flagged in FPL, but in the press conference today, Eddie Howe said that he is fit, so he will probably start for Newcastle against Man City. And my game week is actually kind of relying on Newcastle to do well against Man City. Actually, I don't need them to win, I just need them to score a couple of goals, and Gordon and Isak being involved. Will be interesting to see Cole Palmer's ownership this game week as well. Will probably be close to 100, but don't really see it going above 100 this game week. Most will probably just captain Mo Salah, especially after his 29-point haul in double game week 24. And of course, there will be some managers being tempted to captain Ollie Watkins as well. Would not take a punt on Gakpo captain this game week just for the sake of it, or try to gain ground by going for a differential. Gakpo is kind of a risk, especially for the first game against Wolves. So I think that the captaincy is pretty straightforward this game week. If you have Watkins, I would be tempted, but if not, Mo Salah is the obvious choice. I know it's probably a bit boring, but I don't necessarily see this game week to be a good week to go for a differential. So Mo Salah captain, Watkins might be a decent punt if you own him, but so in the poll, are you going to transfer in Watkins? Yes, 18%, no, 82%. So there are a lot of managers, active managers, that have visited this stream that is going against Ollie Watkins. But on the FPL page, as I refresh it, I can see more and more selling Alexander Isak and going for Ollie Watkins. 2 hours ago, Alexander Isak was not on the list for the most transferred out players, but at the moment he is gaining more and more sales, so he is now the third most sold player ahead of double game week 25. Bonfay, Clash of Clans, hi mate. Thanks for joining in. Bench one of Mikolenko, Aina or Robinson. Actually, I had a similar question. I think that if you want to play it safe, then Aina should start. If you want to take a punt, then Aina should be the one on your bench. I think that Robinson probably should play home fixture and attacking threat as well. So play Robinson, play Mikolenko as well if you want to be a bit aggressive and take a punt. Play Aina if you want to play safe. So if you're satisfied with your rank, satisfied with your mini leagues, then play Aina. So let's have a quick look at the ownership for Watkins at the moment. So 90 minutes ago when I made the graphics for this live stream, Lewis Hall, he was the third most sold player. At the moment, it's Alexander Isak. 327,000 transfers out for Alexander Isak, and Watkins, he is getting more and more new owners. Watkins, at the moment, he is the 5th most transferred in player ahead of double game week 25. There are a lot of new managers in the last couple of hours for Ollie Watkins after Emery's press conference when he confirmed that Watkins is fit. He has gained a lot of new owners. I totally get the temptation of going with Watkins, of course, especially the first fixture in double game week 25 against Ipswich, but this transfer selling Alexander Isak to bring in Watkins is off limits for me. I'm already tripled up on Aston Villa assets as I have Emery as my assistant manager. So Emery, Martinez, and Rodgers will be my Aston Villa triple up for this double game week. Hopefully, I will have triple Liverpool as well. Of course, Gakpo is a slight doubt ahead of the Wolves fixture, but hopefully he is fit to play. So a couple of minutes ago, I got a question about the triple captaincy, if I would play my triple captain this game week or wait until game week 32 and play it on Alexander Isak. I think that Mo Salah this game week probably is the better triple captain. If you look at the bookies and their expected anytime goal scorer, it's a new record this season. So Mo Salah for Liverpool's fixture against Wolves and Aston Villa has a record-breaking 73% chance of a goal according to the bookies. 73% chance of a Salah goal. That's pretty high. I think that Haaland probably in game week 2, 3 got close to 70. I think he has had like 67, 68, something like that. But this week it's Salah, Watkins second, and Diogo Jota third with 63. When it comes to expected clean sheets, Liverpool 64%, Aston Villa is second. They're actually level with Arsenal, both with 52% chance of a clean sheet. This is not my numbers, it's according to the bookies and their expected clean sheet odds for double game week 25. One hour ago, 1 hour left. The deadline is in 1 hour. So it's time to make the final decisions, time to start considering your transfers if you haven't already done so. And of course, let me know in the comments if you have any 50-50 decisions or dilemmas ahead of next game week. 59 minutes left. My team will probably be as on the screen right now. No more transfers, no more funds. I actually have 0 transfers and 0 money in the bank, so I would probably be a bit tempted to sell Alexander Isak to bring in Watkins, but I think that I probably would avoid it. But yeah, seeing I already have triple up on Aston Villa, this is off limits for me at the moment. So I have a couple of doubts in my team. Gordon is yellow flagged, but I think that he will play. Hopefully he'll start and do well against Man City. Gakpo is a doubt for Liverpool's game against Wolves on Sunday, and also João Pedro is rumored to not start for Brighton this evening, so hopefully he can do something even if he's coming off the bench. Last time João Pedro didn't start was against Man City. It's game week 10-11. He actually came on, scored and assisted. So yeah, hopefully João Pedro can do well. Really, really need him to deliver this game week, as he's one of my differentials this game week. Of course, hoping that Aston Villa can do well against Ipswich in the first fixture. And hopefully they can do something similar to Everton. Maybe they can surprise us and take a point from Liverpool in the second fixture in double game week 25. Cash Kumar, should I activate my assistant managership on Emery as I have Liverpool all 3 assets, or should I activate it on game week 30? It kind of depends how many chips you have left. To be honest, I think that activating your assistant manager in game week 31 probably is a really, really good idea, seeing you'll get back-to-back double game weeks. There will be a double game week in game week 32. There will be a double game week in game week 33 as well. So if you activate your assistant manager chip in game week 31, you will get 5 fixtures from your assistant manager. But this also depends on your triple captaincy. So if you have used your triple captain, then I would probably just wait with my assistant manager chip. So in isolation, I definitely think that using your assistant manager chip in game week 31 is far better than using it this game week on Emery. So if you have your triple captainship left to play, then probably this game week is a decent shout. Triple captain Salah, double game week 25 makes sense. Thanks a lot. That was really helpful. No worries. Thanks for joining in. Best of luck with your decision. But I really think that the assistant manager chip should be really powerful in game week 31, 32, and 33, as it will give you 5 fixtures. Connor, Wolf, Ahmad to Django for a -4. I got this exact same question 10 minutes ago. I like the transfer, selling Ahmad to bring in Django, playing up front for Bournemouth. Good form, good fixtures, good value, but I'm not sure if I would do the transfer for a -4. I think I'll probably just wait and do it for free next game week. Know that the fixture against Southampton is tempting, but it's not like Ahmad is injured or anything. He will probably play for Man United, could score as well. And the thing is that Django would need to score for you to break even. So I'd probably say wait and do it next game week for free. For new subscribers since the last Q&A, thanks to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't done so already, I would really appreciate a like to the stream. And if you subscribed, 2,726 subscribers, that's really great. And if you're interested, there's also a link in the description for the new mini league. It's not that new, started in game week 22, but if you're interested, go and join. Will be bragging rights on the next stream. The bragging rights is not for me at the moment. I'm actually struggling at the bottom of my own mini league, so hopefully I can do well this game week. Doesn't look that great for my team. I have a couple of doubts at the moment. João Pedro is rumored not to start this evening against Chelsea, so hopefully he will start and hopefully he can deliver. Same for Gakpo. The Liverpool game is not until Sunday, of course, playing at home against Wolves, but Gakpo has had a knock, so he is a slight doubt for that fixture. Gordon is yellow flagged as well. I think that he will start. Eddie Howe was really positive about Anthony Gordon in the press conference today, so I think that Anthony Gordon will start. When it comes to Trent, he played 30 minutes against Everton. Don't necessarily think that Bradley did well against Everton, so hopefully Trent will start against Wolves on Sunday. Of course, on paper, the fixture against Man City looks really tough for Newcastle, playing against Man City at the Etihad. But I think that in the recent form, Man City are not one of the best defensive sides. I think that from November, they are actually one of the worst teams when it comes to expected goals conceded. So hopefully Newcastle can score a couple of goals against them. I will have Lewis Hall on my bench. I don't really see Newcastle keeping a clean sheet, but I will start Gordon and Alexander Isak. Go and vote in the poll. Are you interested in bringing in Ollie Watkins ahead of this game week? 18% has voted yes, 82% no. The Alexander Isak to Watkins transfer is off limits for me. I'm already triple up on Aston Villa. I have Emery as my assistant manager. I have Martinez as my goalkeeper and Rodgers as well in midfield. So no Watkins for me this game week, even though I actually think that he could do well, especially if he starts against Ipswich. But I'm not convinced that he will. There is, of course, would make sense for Emery to rest Watkins. He has been injured. It would make sense for him to see reduced minutes at home against Ipswich to be ready for the fixture against Liverpool. No worries, Connor. Hopefully you make the right decision if you sell Ahmad for a hit or not. One positive with doing it tonight is probably when it comes to value, team value, Ahmad is being sold by so many at the moment. He's the second most transferred out player, close to 400k transfers out for Ahmad. So he will see a new price drop soon, while Django, he will probably rise. Let's have a quick look at the predicted prices. Cloyferty is definitely rising tonight. Mateta, Watkins as well, Gakpo, Rodgers, Rashford, actually Huijsen, the Bournemouth centre-back, Konate as well. Trossard actually close to a price rise, owned by 3%, big differential. Trossard will definitely play more minutes in the next game weeks due to the injuries in the Arsenal attack, so Trossard not the worst punt. Ahmad will drop in price tonight as expected. He is on 110% on FPL statistics, so let's check. Go. Will be close, Django. price rise as well. He's on 30%, one of the biggest risers at the moment. So if he's not rising tonight, he will probably be tomorrow. I wouldn't necessarily pay that much attention to price falls and price rises, to be honest. The second half of the season. So my advice would still be to just hold Ahmad and do the transfer for free next game week. 45 minutes left until the deadline. I think that my team is pretty much locked in, to be honest. Salah, captain. I have no other potential captain candidates in my team at the moment. Of course, it could have been Gakpo, but considering that he is a slight injury risk, then I don't necessarily see him as a good captain option this game week. Trent, of course, same goes for him. He's been injured as well. Played 30 minutes against Everton, so hopefully he will start, but not considering him as my captain this game week. So Salah, clear captain choice for me. But if you have Watkins, I would actually consider giving him the armband, especially if you want to take a punt, if you're not satisfied with your rank or your position in your mini leagues, then it would probably make sense to take a punt on Ollie Watkins. So let me know if you have any questions or dilemmas ahead of the next deadline. My team is pretty much locked in. It will be as on the screen. Martinez is my new goalkeeper. Had a goalkeeper problem with both Sanchez and Fabianski. Both looks to have lost their spot, so I sold Sanchez to bring in Martinez and take advantage of the Aston Villa double game week. So Rodgers already in, and I also brought in Emery to complete the Aston Villa triple up. 3 Aston Villa players means that there will be no Ollie Watkins this game week for me, but let me know, go vote in the poll, will you have Ollie Watkins this game week or not? He is definitely interesting for a lot of FPL managers. Last couple of hours he has been transferred in by a lot. Alexander Isak, he looks to be the route for many to bring in Watkins, so Alexander Isak is one of the most sold players ahead of double game week 25. So to summarize some of the headlines today, Watkins, he is confirmed to be fit. I'm not sure if he will start against Ipswich. It's just a feeling that it would make sense for Emery to give him a bit of a rest and some reduced minutes at home against Ipswich and then be ready for Liverpool midweek. But of course, he might start and do well in that fixture as well. We also got the announcement of double game week 32. Newcastle and Crystal Palace will have 2 fixtures in double game week 32. Newcastle, decent fixtures for them, will have 2 games at St. James's against Man United and Crystal Palace, while Crystal Palace, on the other hand, they will play away against Man City and then away against Newcastle. So tough fixtures for Crystal Palace in double game week 32, but I really like the double for Newcastle, and at the moment it looks like Alexander Isak probably will be my triple captain in double game week 32. Let's have a quick look over at X to see if there are any early team news. one game tonight. Brighton playing against Chelsea. So after the update on the double game week 32, I actually need to take a look at my team and take a look at the fixtures and make a decision about my chip strategy. At the moment, I'm leaning towards free hits in blank game week 29. I have already 8 players that will have a blank in that game week, so it would make sense for me to not spend transfers on selling those players, just have them ready for double game week 32. Might be tempted to even bring in a couple of Crystal Palace players, which will give me 10 blank players for game week 29. Then I would probably play my triple captain in double game week 32 on Alexander Isak. 2 home fixtures for Newcastle in double game week 22, playing against Man United and Crystal Palace at home. So decent fixtures for Alexander Isak and Newcastle. I would then have a strong team for double game week 23 as well. 33, sorry. But I would also possibly use my wild card in blank game week 34. Maybe even my bench boost in double game week 33 if my team looks up for it. I would have to sell Buonanotte. Would have to bring in a new goalkeeper for Fabianski as well. So yeah, we'll have to consider my chip strategy. But for now, for me, it's like just have to focus on this game week and then reassess after the deadline. Actually have a couple of days off work next week, so for once I will actually have plenty of time to tinker with my FPL team and make the graphics and record a new chip strategy video. So looking forward. If you're interested, go and subscribe to the channel so we don't miss out. But for now, there's 31 minutes left until the next deadline. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions or 50-50 decisions ahead of double game week 25. It's actually 9K in FPL Harry's deadline stream at the moment, while Let's Talk FPL Andy only has 7.4K. Kind of surprised by that, to be honest. Not really paying that much attention to other streamers' numbers, but I kind of thought that FPL Andy was like the king of deadline streams, so not really have any expectations of reaching those numbers, to be honest. Not putting that much time and effort into it, at least not at the moment, but I really enjoy talking about FPL, doing those live streams. Usually there are a bit more. I think that probably on Saturdays is the best day for deadline streams. Of course, Friday night is probably not the best day for a deadline stream, but if I can consistently get around 50 to 100 people to watch those streams and write their questions and keep the conversation going, that would be more than enough for me. Been told that it takes a couple of seasons for those new streamers to get a lot of views. Of course, the competition is really big when it comes to deadline streams, especially for FPL content creators. So I totally get that. Joe Rain, bench one, Alexander Isak, Morgan Gibbs-White, or Rodgers. I know that Morgan Gibbs-White has done really well recently, but Rodgers with a double game week, he has to be in. And Alexander Isak on penalties for Newcastle would also make my starting 11. So Morgan Gibbs-White would be on my bench, even though I think that he is a good option as well. So Morgan Gibbs-White first bench, Alexander Isak and Rodgers in your starting 11. I know that Man City on paper, playing away against Man City especially, it looks like a really, really bad fixture, but I think that especially for the attackers, that Man City is not the worst fixture at the moment. I'm benching Lewis Hall. I can't really see Man City not scoring against Newcastle, but I can't see Man City keeping a clean sheet either. So start Isak, bench Morgan Gibbs-White, play Rodgers. No worries. Hopefully this is the right decision. Hopefully this will not be the game week where Morgan Gibbs-White absolutely smashes it, like 2 goals and an assist. Makes sense for me to just bench Morgan Gibbs-White. Best of luck this game week and have a nice weekend as well. It's 24 minutes left until the deadline. Let's have a look over at X to see if there are any early team news. Not been that many this season, to be honest. A couple of game weeks ago, there were this reliable in the know FPL accounts posted early team news, but it turned out to be wrong. So don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, to be honest, when it comes to those team leaks and stuff like that. FPL FOMO locking in his team. Final answer. Selling Gordon to Django. Saving the 4 other transfers and playing the assistant manager chip on Emery. Nice. FPL instinctive. Usually kind of updated on Brighton. He is expecting Joe Pedro to play 55, 57 minutes. That was quite concrete. I have Joe Pedro on 55 to 57 expected minutes. Him starting is not clear cut at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if Welbeck started instead. That said, Hurstler comments on needing more intensity and a more defined low block benefit Joao Pedro. Yeah, I think hope that Joao Pedro will start. No concrete sources saying that he definitely will not start, so I guess Joao Pedro at the moment that the owners should just start him. We know that Chelsea are not the best defensive team, especially not recently, so Joao Pedro will start for me. Hopefully he will start for Brighton as well. The rest of my team is pretty much locked in. Of course, Gabriel against Leicester. Mikolenko, I will give him a go this game week. Anderson, Lewis Hall will be on my bench. Trent, hopefully he can play on Sunday against Wolves. Palmer playing tonight. Will be interesting to see his effective ownership this game week. Will probably be close to 100, but hopefully it will be a bit lower so that we can celebrate if Cole Palmer scores tonight. Gordon, yellow flagged in FPL, but he is confirmed to be fit, so he'll probably start against Man City with Alexander Isak. I know that it looks bad on paper playing away against Man City, but for attacking players, I don't necessarily see the Man City fixture as that tough. Mo Salah will be my captain. No other real candidates or captain contenders in my team. Would probably consider Ollie Watkins if I owned him, but I'm already tripled up on Aston Villa. Martinez is my goalkeeper, Rodgers in midfield, and Unai Emery is my assistant manager. I talked about Joao Pedro. Not sure if he will start, but I hope so and think so. And hopefully, if he starts, he can deliver. Gakpo is a slight risk, but I think that if you have Gakpo, you should just keep and start him. But I wouldn't necessarily advise anyone to buy Gakpo this game week. So that's the current state of my team. Got a small red arrow in double game week 24, even though Moyes did really well with 22 points. Of course, I captain Mo Salah, but I think that the triple captainers were, of course, the big winners last game week. My transfers this game week: Sanchez to Martinez and Moyes to Emery. I had a big goalkeeper problem with both Fabianski and Sanchez. 0 minutes between them last game week and 0 points. So to solve the problem, I brought in Martinez to take advantage of Aston Villa's double game week. Same goes for my assistant manager, sold David Moyes to have 2 fixtures from Emery in double game week 25. No Watkins for me. As mentioned, I'm triple up on Aston Villa, so I will not sell Alexander Isak and bring in Watkins. Alexander Isak, one of the most transferred out players ahead of double game week 25. Let's have a quick look on the graphics. It's 300k transfers out, but if I refresh the FPL page, it has probably be a bit higher. Isak, at the moment, he is sold by 342,000 managers. Third most sold player, Watkins, 370k new managers. There will be some either really disappointed or happy new Watkins owners after this game week. So Watkins, he has been injured. Emery said on the press conference today that he is fine and that he is fit to play. My thought is just that it makes sense for Emery to rest Watkins. Maybe just give him 30 minutes against Ipswich at home to have him 100% fit and ready for the important game against Liverpool midweek. So I think that even though Emery said that Watkins is fit to be in the squad, I still think that there's a slight risk when we consider his starting spot for their game against Ipswich. And of course, when we consider Aston Villa assets for double game week 25, it's the first fixture against Ipswich that looks really tempting. So I know that they have 2 home games, but Liverpool, one of the best teams, of course, top of the league, so not an easy fixture for the Villa boys. "14 minutes left until the deadline. It's time to make your final decisions." So 14 minutes left. I'll have a quick look over at X to see if there are any news. I would love some Joao Pedro news, but I'm not sure if we get the confirmation that Joao Pedro will not start. I will probably just keep him. Can't really afford any good replacements for Joao Pedro with 0 in the bank, so Watkins flag removed. Still not sure if Watkins will start both games, but of course, if he does, he is a really good option. On penalties for Aston Villa. And even though Liverpool is a good team, they just conceded 2 goals against Everton. So, yeah, Aston Villa, of course, and hopefully can do well against them. I'm triple up on Aston Villa, so really hoping that they will beat Ipswich, of course. Hopefully get a clean sheet as well, and maybe they can get a draw against Liverpool. No concrete news on Joao Pedro. Guess we just have to wait and see if Joao Pedro starts or not. But hopefully for the owners, he starts. -4 plus Slot plus Isaac versus Gakpo and Emery. I think that it probably makes sense to avoid the hit. Play Gakpo if you already have him in your team. He's not confirmed to be out, and bringing in Gakpo ahead of last game week is part of the plan. So I think that it makes sense to just play Gakpo, to be honest. And if I get your question, then you're tripled up on Liverpool, so you can't bring in Slot. So if you're keeping Gakpo, you will bring in Emery. Yeah, makes sense to avoid the hit, in my opinion. Bench Colville or Ding, please answer. I would bench Colville this game week, take the punt, and play Ding. He has 2 fixtures, will probably at least start one of them. I wouldn't bring in Ding, but if you already have him in your team, I would definitely start Luka Ding in double game week 25. Jasnit Singh, do you think I should sell Gordon or SA or neither? I'm planning on buying Trossard or Kluivert. I think that it depends on your chip strategy. If you're definitely not using your free hit in blank game week 29, then it makes sense to sell Gordon or SA. But if you have a lot of players from Liverpool, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace, I would actually consider playing your free hit in blank game week 29. But if you already used your free hit, then yeah, go for it. I would sell SA. And no, Kluivert is really popular at the moment, but I really like Trossard as well as a punt. Only selected by 3%, and we know that Trossard will start the coming game weeks due to all the injuries in the Arsenal attack. So I think maybe SA to Trossard is Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, and when it comes to the last question, I would avoid taking the hit. Would just keep Gakpo and bring in Emery. Emery, of course, the game against Ipswich, great potential for Aston Villa to get something in that game. So, like with Moyes, they started with a win against Leicester and a draw against Liverpool. It's not like this can't happen this game week with Aston Villa, a win against Ipswich and a draw against Liverpool. We might see similar points to Moyes in double game week 24. So let's have a quick look at Unai Emery. I've seen a lot of transfers in for Emery, but he's still kind of a differential, selected by 24%. This is 24% of the players with their assistant manager active, so it's not that many. I think Emery is a decent punt for double game week 25, so I'd avoid the hit and just bring in Emery. The thing is with Emery, they play against Chelsea in game week 26 as well, and if Aston Villa, if it fails this game week and if they lose against Ipswich and Liverpool, they will probably be on target for table bonus against Chelsea in game week 26. So if Emery fails, he might make up for it against Chelsea in game week 26. Bench Semenyo or Wood. I really like Semenyo and the fixture against Southampton, but Wood, he has done so well recently. I think that play Semenyo if you want to be a bit aggressive, but play Chris Wood if you want to play it safe. So if you're satisfied with your rank and want to play safe, then go for Chris Wood. But if you're not satisfied with your mini leagues and your rank, then taking a punt on Semenyo and benching Chris Wood makes perfectly sense this game week. Best long-term console replacement kind of depends on your chip strategy. For me and my team, I would probably bring in Munoz, but he has a blank in blank game week 29. I will play my free hit that game week and have him ready for double game week 32, sorry. But if you're not playing your free hit in game week 29, I would probably just go someone like Huijsen from Bournemouth, the center back. Decent fixture for Bournemouth. Great team form, good value as well. And Huijsen, he is a threat at set pieces. So Konsa to Huijsen, if you can afford Kirkis, he will probably be my preferred option, but he has seen his price rise a couple of times recently. So I'll just write the name down in the comments. Not sure if I pronounced it correctly. He's Dutch. Huijsen. Yeah. So Karam, hopefully you'll make the right decision. Only 3 minutes left though, so you need to hurry up. The deadline is only 2 minutes and 50 seconds away, so it's time to lock in your teams, guys. My team is locked in. My transfers are already done. I sold Sanchez. I had a goalkeeper problem with Sanchez and Fabianski, so I took the punt on Martinez and the 2 fixtures this game week. I also sold David Moyes. He was a hero last game week, but I sold Moyes to bring in Emery. So my team is locked in. Make sure to make your last transfers and lock your team 2 minutes until the deadline. Also go vote in the poll. There's 87% saying that they will not have Ollie Watkins, 13% saying that they will transfer him in. So when we take a look at the official FPL page and the transfers in and transfers out, Alexander Isak is one of the most sold players and Watkins one of the most transferred in. So the trend is to sell Alexander Isak and bring in Ollie Watkins, but in the poll in this stream, we're going against Watkins. Watkins will not be in my team. I'm already triple up on Aston Villa. I have Martinez, I have Watkins, and I have Emery as my assistant coach. Well, 1 minute left. Karam time to make a decision. Let me know in the comment, did you sell Konsa? Did you bring in Huijsen? I really like that transfer, to be honest. If you really want a double game week player, then Mings, he is confirmed to be fit, so Konsa to Mings could potentially be an option as well. Big move from me, giving you more options with only 20 seconds until the deadline. So that's it. The deadline is gone for double game week 25. Hopefully, if you had any plans to do any late transfers, hopefully it went through. My team is locked in. It's on the screen. I will start Martinez in goal. He was transferred in for me this game week on behalf of Sanchez. Lost his spot in the Chelsea team, so he had to go. Gabriel, Mikolenko, Trent in defense. Hopefully Trent will start against Wolves. Cole Palmer, Gordon. Gordon is actually the most transferred out player, so hopefully he can punish the sellers and do well against Man City. I'm not expecting Newcastle to win. I think that Man City are better these days. I know that against Real Madrid they struggled, but I think that City can do well against Newcastle this weekend. This is the reason why I benched Lewis Hall, but Salah is my captain, Rodgers with a double game week, Alexander Isak, same as with Gordon. Hopefully he can do something against City. Joe Pedro, hopefully he will start. I'm not really sure. Have been some rumors about Joe Pedro being benched this game week, but no concrete news. And Hörsler has not said that he will get a rest. So hopefully Joe Pedro will start and hopefully he can do well. Gakpo, yellow flagged, injured out for Liverpool's game on Sunday against Wolves. So hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and of course I will be ready ahead of the next game week with a Q&A. I try to always do a Q&A the day before the deadline, and when I find time I have deadline streams ahead a couple of hours before the deadline as well. I also post weekly team selection videos where I discuss the watch list, captain selection, and potential transfers. So subscribe to the channel if that sounds interesting. There's also a link in the description for classic mini league, so if you're interested, go press the link and join that league as well. But for now, best of luck for double game week 25, and have a nice weekend, and hopefully I'll see you next time.